In this section, we're going to be talking about how to find the money in your message. And I know in the industry of being an author, speaker, coach, entrepreneur, really the expert industry, we want to know how to make money. We want to make money for our message. We want to connect to people and have people buy our products, our books, our services. And in this section, I'm going to be talking about a couple of different things. Who is your ideal customer? And what perspective do we need to understand this ideal customer from? And I call this the points of pain. We're also going to talk about a couple of different exercises, how you can take your expertise and connect it directly to your client, and how you can also deconstruct your skill set in a way that allows you to reinvent who you were before into who you want to be today. Because a lot of you have a lot of incredible expertise and a background in one area, but that's not where you want to be an expert today. So how do we deconstruct our skill set into something new that allows us to make money and serve others at the same time? So the first place to start with this, the money in your message is really understanding who your ideal client is. And what's so important about this is that a lot of us are tempted to say, oh, everybody's my ideal client. Everybody wants what I have to offer. But actually, that's not the truth. The truth is that there is a very tight group of people who will respond to your message. And believe it or not, you don't need thousands and thousands of clients to have $1 million business. I know plenty of entrepreneurs who are working with a dozen people at any given time, and they're making multiple six figures and even upwards of seven figures. So I know it's hard to understand that, but it's all how you design your business model that allows you to work with a really unique set or group of people who is your ideal client, and to drill deep into the services and products and messages of transformation that you have to offer them. So let's start with your customer profile. And it's really critical to have information about your customer, because when you are armed with the right knowledge, you can out-motivate, outsell, out-manage, out-negotiate your competition. So when we talk about knowing your customer, what that means is knowing what your customer really wants. Maybe they want your product, but there's something else that they also want. They want recognition. They want respect. They want service. They want reliability. They want friendship. There's all kinds of things that we all care more about as human beings than just products. So once you can attach your personality to the proposition that you're offering, people start reacting to the personality that you have. So I've created some questions to help you develop a profile of your customers. Some of you will get this from people that you're working with, and others of you maybe haven't even started yet. So you're just going to have to take somebody either paid or unpaid, a paid or unpaid client that you've worked with, who's your favorite, and work from that. So instead of trying to imagine all the different kinds of people, I encourage you for this exercise to just pick one. Okay, so pick one person, your favorite client, paid or unpaid, and let's paint a picture of them. So here's a couple of the questions that you can ask, and there is a worksheet on your ideal customer inside the resources. But first of all, like, what is their name? And you can also create a nickname for them. So for example, I do a lot of video production work. So one of my ideal clients is someone who is terrified to be on camera. And so the nickname for this person would be Camera Shy Carla. Okay, so you can create something fun, a little nickname or gimmick. It's called an avatar around your ideal client. What's the name of their company? What's their home address? Where do they live? This also can help sometimes just regional demographics. Also find out, what their hometown is, what they weigh, what their height is. Let's go into even their education. Did they go to high school, college? What year did they graduate? Did they receive honors? Do they have a master's degree? And what would that topic be? And you might even begin to see certain trends. I know inside my work, I have been working with a lot of people who've gone to Ivy League colleges. And so that's starting to become one of the profiles of my ideal client. It's not something that I would have put out there, but just in analyzing the different people that come to me, you will find that certain themes or trends emerge. You can even ask questions about, were they in a fraternity or sorority? Are they, somebody who joins organizations? Are they more of an independent person? If they play sports, are they on team sports or independent sports again? And what kind of extracurricular activities does this ideal customer do? Now, if your customer didn't attend college, is he or she sensitive about it? That's another big point, that people can have a sensitivity around something that they haven't done. So pay attention not only to what they have participated in, but what they haven't. Were they in the military? Have they been discharged yet? What is their attitude about being in the service? Also learn about your ideal client's family. What's the spouse's name and occupation? What's the spouse's education? What is the spouse's interest? And when is the anniversary? Okay, so how long have they been married for? Especially if you're a relationship coach, or working in the field of relationships or connections, this is important too. Find out about their children, their names and ages, their children's education, and what the children's interests, hobbies, and problems are. And also take a look. I know this is going to feel like, wow, we're really digging deep into who our customers are, but it's inside the depth of really knowing who we're working with that we begin to develop a crystal clear picture or perspective about the wants, needs, inspirations, desires of the people that we're impacting. And we can connect to them in these really deep points. And it creates a tremendous amount of loyalty. And loyalty means conversion, using a marketing term. And this is where the money is in your message. This is the money that you will develop as an author, speak, coach, expert by understanding these ideal clients. So just going into the business background, find out about where they've worked, what their title was, how long they were there, what were some of the status symbols in their office? Did they win any awards? And is there a business relationship with others in the company? Okay, so just get to know as much as you can about the business that your client was in. Do they have a good relationship with people that they work with? Are there other people in the company that know the customer? And find out what their long-range business objective is. And also what their immediate business objective is. And here's another question to ask yourself and to ask them, what do you think is the greatest concern to this customer or your client at this time? And what is also the greatest concern to the customer or your client's company at his time? Okay, so a lot of times we have a personal objective or a personal concern, and then we have a business concern. Okay, so ask these questions. What does your customer or client think of the present or the future? I mean, what's their viewpoint about what's going on in the world right now? And are they politically active? How important is this to them? Are they active in the community? And how do they participate there? Are they in any clubs or like the Masons or the Kiwanis, anything like that? Are they involved in their church? So do they pursue a certain type of religion, and how active are they in this? And there's also some other confidential things that you may not want to discuss directly with your client, but make note of it. Are they divorced? Are they a member of AA? Is there anything else that's sensitive about them that you may want to just put in your file? Okay. And what other subjects outside of the business does your client have strong passions, convictions, or feelings about? You may even want to make a note of what their medical history is. If you're a wellness expert or you're a coach in, I have a certain person that I work with who wrote a book on getting rid of bad cholesterol. So she would want to know about the medical history or the current condition of the health of the ideal people that she works with. What's their journey been? You can ask, does your customer drink? And if yes, what and how much? One of the reasons this may be relevant is if you are an author or an expert in the wine industry. You may want to know if your ideal customer loves wine. Have they been in Napa Valley? It's not always for a negative bent. It's just to know who the people you're working with. If your customer doesn't drink, are they offended by others drinking? Do they smoke? Where's their favorite place to go to lunch or dinner? What kinds of things do they like to eat on the menu? Does the customer object to having someone buy his or her meal? This tells you a lot about people. And one of the things that we use a lot inside our company is a PhD survey company called MySurveyExpert. And this allows us to get very, very clear before and after understandings of who it is that we work with, what they liked about our product, what they didn't like, where the greatest impact was. We're able to measure the transformation. So use of surveys is a powerful tool for you to use in your own business and to deeply understand the demographics of this ideal customer, ideal client that you're working with. You can also look at what their hobbies and recreational interests are. What are their vacation habits? Do they like any kind of particular sports? Do they have a favorite team? I know my husband loves the Green Bay Packers. Okay, he's had season tickets to the Green Bay Packers for 42 years. They've been in his family. He is passionate about them. So it might be important to know that about an ideal customer. What kind of car or cars do they like or drive? What are their conversational interests? Does the customer even seem anxious to impress? I mean, is this something that is inside their psyche? And how does your client want to be perceived by other people? Okay, like what are their motivations? What are their thoughts? What adjectives would you use to describe the customer? What are they most proud of having achieved? And what do you feel is the customer's long-range personal objective? And also, what do you feel is your customer's immediate personal goal? Okay, so I know we've just gone through a lot of different questions, and you don't have to ask all of these, but I just want you to understand that the demographics and the picture that you paint of your ideal customer is much broader, more expansive, and in depth than name, address, phone number, and they are a high achiever and they want to have transformation in your lives. So dig deeper. Dig deeper to this person that you've worked with, who either paid or unpaid, that you loved working with, and try to answer as many of these questions as possible. Because what will happen is you will create this incredible in-depth profile, and this will give you a lot of help when we go further into this work together in terms of writing messages and scripts and language that attracts and immediately draws this person into your area of expertise. Okay? There's a couple other things just to consider just between you, the dynamic of the customer and you. So what moral or ethical considerations are involved when you work with your customer? Okay, some relationships can be pretty highly charged if you're of two different cultures or two different types of religion. If your work is more spiritual based and the person that you're working with is a very devout Christian or devout member of another religious organization, there may be a conflict there. Okay, you don't know. So it helps to have an awareness. Does your customer feel any obligation to you, your company, or your competition? So, is there a lot of lawyers come up with this too? Is there a conflict of interest? There may be that. You want to make sure that you look for that. And the last thing is, does the proposal that you plan to make to your customer, your client, require them to change a habit or take action that is contrary to a custom that they have? Okay, so let's say, for example, you want your client to develop a meditation practice, all right? And you would like them to use a series of affirmations. Now, inside some Orthodox or different types of religion, that could be perceived as doing something that's contrary to what their custom is. Okay, not right or wrong, no judgment here, but you need to make sure that what you're asking your customer to do is something that they actually would want to do. I had a client once who had strong opinions about plastic surgery, and that she believed that if you loved yourself, you wouldn't get plastic surgery. So her business model was to go into plastic surgeons' offices and to talk to patients to make sure that they really wanted to get plastic surgery. Now, there's a disconnect here because, first of all, she made an assumption that plastic surgeons would want a coach in their office talking people out of having their services. So there's an action that's contrary. It's what I call swimming upstream against the culture that you want to participate in. So it is important to understand that you are going with the flow of your ideal clients. Is a lot of work to swim upstream. It costs you a lot of money. I doubt you'll be successful if you're working in the world as someone who has an agenda to convert. Okay, converting people over to your way of thinking that goes against their customs, habits, or beliefs is a much more challenging proposition. Okay, and the last thing about this in terms of the ideal customer is, what are some of the key problems going on with your customer as they see them, not as you see them, as they perceive them? What are also the priorities for your customer in terms of managing these problems? And then how can you help with these? Okay? Because sometimes you may also find too that your competitor may have better answers to the above questions than you do. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to not only what you are offering in the marketplace, but what other people are offering as well. And the more that you know about your ideal client, the more money that you are going to find inside your message. And in the next section, we're going to start to cover this a little bit deeper, and we'll be talking about the very specific points of pain of these ideal customers.